Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to another episode of
A BJJ Marriage, where we talk about our lives as a married Jiu Jitsu couple.
How are you turning your belt black? You keep washing it until all the color fades away.
Nick washed his belt for the first time, probably ever this week.
Yeah, it was the first time ever.
Throughout all of your belts. It's your first time washing it. And it, kind of turned black a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It did the opposite of what I thought it would do.
So what we think happened was the little black section that you have on the tail end of your belt. I was going to say tail, and that wasn't right.
It is the tail of a belt.
Yeah, but I said it's the tail end of your tail. So I think that just faded a little bit and went onto his belt. But I mean,
I think I worn away too many fibers, and then the wash pulled it away.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the point of the belts getting darker, though. Is I don't know, it goes from white all the way to black because it just gets dirtier the longer you use it. That's the purpose of it. So you're just escalating that process.
Something like that. So, I don't know. I lost all my jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Almost got tapped out by a white belt.
He's a good white belt.
Unacceptable.
Which we'll talk about.
I'll have to quit.
So anyway, welcome back, guys, to episode 71 of BJJ Marriage with your hosts, Nick and Brittany Lee. We hope you have had a good week of training so far. We're actually kind of being consistent again, which is nice. A little bit. We're probably not going to do a podcast next week, just so you know.
What's going on next week?
I don't know what's going on next week.
Your birthday?
What did we stay up until 1 a.m. talking about yesterday?
Planning our vacation?
Yes. Yeah, so we'll be on a little vacation next weekend. An actual, vacation, not for a wedding, not for someone else. It's just
our birthdays.
Yeah. Yeah. It's our birthdays next week. Nick's birthday is on the 19th, which is a Friday this year, and...
I'm turning 29 plus 2.
Okay. I like that. We can start saying that. And then mine is the 22nd, which is on a Monday this year. So we typically, because we're only 3 days apart, we always take off of work for about a week or so and go do something crazy and something fun, and I don't know. But this year we decided that we just had too much going on that we're just going to do a staycation.
Yes.
And we're really excited about it.
Yeah, plus I've never been a tourist in Milwaukee.
Right.
Where we live, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I'd like to learn some more history about what goes on or what happened here.
Yeah, and we've been talking about doing this for years because we go on so many trips, especially now for jiu-jitsu. We're visiting a lot of places. And every time we visit somewhere, we're typically doing some sort of historical tour when we're there just to get to know the city. And we always look at each other and we're like, I love how we know all this stuff about every other city that we've been to, but nothing about Milwaukee. So we've been talking about doing a staycation for quite a while now. So now we're making it happen.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, we're doing a Brady Street food tour.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing a Sunday Fun Day cruise.
Yep.
I forgot what else we're doing. We have a spreadsheet of things we're doing.
2 ghost tours.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really excited. We couldn't pick which one we wanted to do more, so we just chose them both.
Yeah, it sounds really fun. We're doing a distillery tour.
Mm-hmm.
And then we thought about doing a food tour, a distillery tour, and then going to jiu-jitsu. And then we were like, maybe not the best idea.
Yeah. So we're not doing that. But we are going to be doing a little bit of training on Saturday, the 20th.
For Manuel.
Yes. We have a seminar coming up on August 20th at 12 o'clock at Fluid Jiu-Jitsu. It is with Manuel. I don't know his last name.
I don't know his last name.
Maybe? Something like that. I don't know, but he's a 145-pound black belt from... Is he from Washington? Or is he...
Well, he lives in Seattle now, but he's from Mexico.
Yeah.
Mexico.
He won IBJJF multiple times in Mexico.
Well, when he was training in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now...
And he trained at American Top Team.
Okay.
For a while. Okay. He got sponsored by American Top Team to go train jiu-jitsu with everybody at American Top Team. And then he met a lady, and they moved to Seattle. And now he
Mm-hmm.
trains in Seattle with one of our good friends, Jose, who has been on the podcast before.
Mm-hmm.
But he's bringing Manuel to Milwaukee to do an awesome Jiu Jitsu seminar that we're super excited about.
Yes, he's like I said, he's a 145-pound black belt, so small guy, and he is a champion in BJJ, so he obviously knows what he's doing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we're excited to learn from him, but we decided to make some time into our vacation schedule so that we could go and see the seminar.
Yes, because it's almost like if we went on vacation and went to learn from somebody at a gym somewhere else anyways.
Mm-hmm. Which is what we do. I mean, we basically go on vacation and go train somewhere. So we had talked about that, and we were like, well, if we're going to stay here, like, maybe we should go train at a different gym that we have never been to. So if you're from the Milwaukee area, like, some gyms that we were throwing out was Freeform and Crossover and Rufus Sport. I think those are the three that we looked into. And unfortunately, a lot of them didn't really
have... You never been to Neutral Ground?
I'm going to Neutral Ground in about an hour, actually. But we just looked at all their class schedules, and it didn't seem to work out with our timing. And even the ones that did, it seemed like there was another class right after, not an open mat. And we're like, so we're just going to go Dojo Storm a beginner class and then go to a judo class?
We didn't want to, like, show up to a beginner class on a Sunday morning as a purple belt and blue belt from a gym across town.
Mm-hmm. We felt like that would be rude.
It's just, like, odd.
Yeah.
Like, if we were really from out of town, we would definitely embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, we're going to see these people again.
Yeah. Yeah. So we decided the seminar is probably good for us. Yeah. We'll go to the seminar, and that'll be enough training for a little vacation. Plus, we're not actually taking off as long as we normally do. Like I said, just
one time we took off for like 14 days.
Yeah, right. My goodness. But we had so much going on this year that we were like, let's just do a little mini getaway. So we're doing like Thursday night after work through Monday night, and then we're going back to work Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what are you most excited for? Top of your head.
For
5, 4.
Hey, don't do this to me.
3.
No.
2.
I'm excited for the ghost tour.
1. There you go, ghost tour.
Yeah. I don't know which one, because I'm really excited for both. Probably Brady Street.
Yes. I'm super excited for ghost tour.
Wait, no, we're not doing the Brady Street ghost tour because we're doing the Brady Street food tour.
Oh, yeah.
So we didn't need to do the ghost tour
Third
and
ward.
the food. Yeah, we're doing the third ward and the city hall ghost tours.
Off the top of my head, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll be most excited about our Sunday Fun Day cruise.
Yeah. Des texted me this morning. She's going to come.
Nice.
Des and Gustavo are going to join us for the brunch right before that at Central Standard, and then the cruise.
You heard it first here, folks.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming with us.
And then Irving wants to come to brunch with us on Saturday.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So.
We're doing the thing.
Yeah, basically we just want to be tourists in our own city. So another thing that we're really trying to do is go visit Harbor House, which is a really popular, famous restaurant here in Milwaukee that we've never been to. But it seems like everyone else in the world and their mom has. So
yeah, but it's like, oh, it's the best.
Yeah. It's right on the lake. It almost looks like a museum from the outside. Like, it's just this beautiful...
It's actually in between 2 museums.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the view is the lake, which is super cool. It's a seafood fine dining restaurant. So we're going to go try that out, and I'm really excited about it.
I didn't know we picked it.
Isn't that what Jose said?
I don't know.
Oh. Okay. Well, it's either that or a different one, but I think we're going to go to Harbor House. Anyway.
I'm learning so much today.
Yeah, right? So, yeah. We got our birthdays coming up. So, like I said, because we're doing the vacation and it's our birthdays, I don't know if we'll have time to do the podcast next week. We'll see, but don't count on it.
Maybe we'll do a ghost tour podcast. No, just kidding.
So, we've actually talked about that, too, because we are traveling so much right now, especially in 2022, that I've brought up, like, oh, well, when we were driving to Pennsylvania, we could do a little blurb in the car, or when we're on vacation, we could do a little travel blog, but we decided 2 things. 1,
no studio environment.
Yeah, the microphone would be terrible for you guys. Like, if we were in a car, can you imagine listening in your headphones and all you would just hear is, like, the wind and our dogs? Yeah, that would be terrible.
I hope that made you guys cringe a little bit.
So it's pretty difficult for us to try to do a podcast on the move. We really like to have our setup here with our quesadilla maker. And then 2,
A lot of times schedules.
yeah,
very difficult.
It doesn't really work out very well. But
we did in Vegas. I was proud.
We did, but we also had a studio. We were like
Almost.
in the hotel room, which is quiet, where the car is not quiet.
Or I just need to get better at editing audio.
That was where I was getting. Is we don't want to have to edit. So a lot of people have actually asked us. They're like, "Why haven't you guys ever done a travel blog? Like, you guys travel so much, and you do jiu-jitsu, and you do all this cool stuff, and like, you should really do a travel blog." And I'm like, "Bro, do you know how much editing that is? Do you know how much little time we have?" So maybe when we're both just like making a crap ton of money off of winning competitions at jiu-jitsu, we can start paying someone to do it.
Which is the topic of our episode today.
Yes. So, all right, that's a good lead-in, right?
Exactly, yes. What I want to talk about today is setting jiu-jitsu goals and how we are working towards achieving those goals, right? So it's all fine and dandy to train whenever you want to train. I just realized I set up the camera and it's like leaning.
Yeah, you just realized that now? I thought you did that on purpose. I thought you were trying to make a leaning tower of Pisa or something.
No. Sorry about that. So, setting goals in jiu-jitsu and what I was talking about. What did I say? I just got distracted by leaning.
I'm sorry,
tower.
I got distracted by a text message I just got that I have to tell you off camera and not on camera. So, we were talking...
So, yes, it's fine if you guys just want to train jiu-jitsu and just like show up and get your workout in and get your social environment and continue training. That's totally cool. But you can tell that there's certain people that skyrocket their skill in jiu-jitsu, and there's certain people that just like show up and hang out. And those people have very different goals. Some people, when they train jiu-jitsu, don't even have a goal, and that's totally okay. But me, I have some aggressive goals, and we'll also find out what kind of goals Brittany has in jiu-jitsu, besides making her dad proud.
So what would you say qualifies your goals as aggressive?
My goals as aggressive is I'm trying to get into larger and larger competition circuits. And I would like to become a full-time jiu-jitsu competitor. That's one of the things that I would love to do. It checks all the boxes. You get to travel to different cities. You get to compete against high-level grapplers. You get to learn from new people every time you travel. And your lifestyle is supported by jiu-jitsu, and you get to do jiu-jitsu all the time.
Mm-hmm. So, I know you've done one IBJJF tournament, so what else are you trying to do it? Like, I know we're talking about a cage grappling championship. Is something you're interested in? I'm
trying to start in, like, I did the Pancration at Primal event, but I'm trying to start in more local things that are coming around the area, so like Chicago, Milwaukee, Wisconsin Dells type of competitions, or events like Fight to Wins that might come to Chicago, or local promotions to get my foot wet onto my feet wet.
I was going to say your foot,
just
one
foot.
Not the other foot, just
no.
one.
But that way, if there's something local, I don't have to invest so much time and money to go into fight one person across the country somewhere.
Okay.
Even if I would get accepted in their tournament.
You mean like the time that we went all the way to Florida just so you could fight someone from Wisconsin?
Yeah.
We went to Florida in April.
For Pans?
For an IBJJF Pans. And he went, his first and only match, he was fighting a guy from about an hour away from us.
Yep.
And they were both just like,
Are you serious? I was like, hey, you're wearing a Rufus sport patch. You train at Rufus? And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, nice. I live in Wisconsin also.
What are the chances? It's
Yeah.
so funny. That's kind of where our dilemma came with the staycation, too. It's like, why do we need to go fight someone on vacation that we're going to see pretty much any time? Like, we could take a Saturday anytime and go to Sheboygan if we wanted to.
Right.
So, it just doesn't seem worth it. But sometimes it just works out that way, right?
Sometimes, what is gee, my brain's not that sharp. It's how the cookie crumbles from Bruce Almighty.
Yes.
That's it, Bruce.
Okay.
I don't know why that reference came in my head.
What would you say, kind of going off of aggressive goals, what would you say is the gym that you would like to visit the most?
Off the top of my head?
Besides, because I'm already assuming that you're going to say Pedro Soares in Brazil.
There's that.
Okay.
But that's not really a gym, that's more of a compound. Art of Jiu Jitsu, I really want to go to. Beautiful gym with the Mendez brothers.
New York?
California.
California.
Marcelo Garcia. I still want to go to his gym. Marcelo's, that's in New York.
Yeah. I really want to go to Tampa.
B Team is the other one. B Team in Texas. Craig Jones.
Oh, okay. I really want to go to Tom DeBlass's school.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Who's that?
Fun. Some guy. Some dude.
Tom DeBlass. He's like in the Midwest somewhere, right?
I think he's Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah. He might be like Pennsylvania, New Jersey area.
Yeah, it's like over there on the East Coast area, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's
pretty
not
sure
Midwest.
it's Pennsylvania. But
I always feel like Pennsylvania's in the middle of the country. And it's not. Simply not.
Yeah. So I follow quite a few jiu-jitsu athletes, but I would say that John Danaher and Tom DeBlass, whenever they post their items on social media, is when I am most intrigued. I really like seeing the words that they have to say and the wisdom that they have to share. John Danaher is definitely more of the wisdom part of it.
Philosophy.
Yeah, which is super cool to like get that type of perspective. But Tom, he likes to share about how proud he is of his team. And I just think that that's so cool coming from not only like a coach or an owner of a school, but like someone as high level as Tom DeBlass to be proud of his blue belt. Like it's very cool for him to acknowledge his students the way that he does and the type of like community that he seems to be spreading. Obviously, I can't say firsthand that I've experienced it, but just from his posts, I can tell that he's building a great community over there, and I just really want to go experience it myself.
Yeah. Yep. Let's do it.
I would like to.
Let's go travel 1 week, all 5 of those schools.
Huh. Okay. California, Texas, Pennsylvania. Got it. Let's do it.
We could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The art of jiu-jitsu in California looks really cool, though, too. I really like the all-white.
Mm-hmm.
It looks super pretty.
I like white mans.
It's just, I wonder how much blood is in there.
Another gym I want to go to is called White Lotus.
Oh, yeah. That thing. Which, yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, because I think it's official now, right? I think it's okay to start talking about it out loud.
It's been announced, yeah.
All right. So we have a fantastic black belt here in Wisconsin. His name is Joshua Janis.
Who's that guy?
He was on an episode once upon a time. We'll have to get him and Megan back on soon.
I think he does something, maybe BJJ Globetrotters or BJJ Fanatics or something like that.
He's a big deal, guys. So
he's not. Don't let him say that.
But Josh Janis is a wonderful human who has been a huge impact in both of our lives, I would say. So actually, Nick works one-on-one with Josh as life coaching, and then they also coach together in My Odyssey, which you can go into more detail about than I can.
Yeah, we do that. Yep.
We do that thing.
We help people set goals, develop strategies on how to achieve those goals, hold them accountable to those goals.
Goals.
That's right.
Take a shot every time we say the word goals.
Goals.
No. But yeah, so Josh has been one of our, he doesn't train at Fluid, so we don't get to train with him too often, but he trains at Neutral Ground, which is our sister school, and we were able to basically train with him throughout our entire career, but now he just started his own school, and he just got the mats delivered this week, so they're coming out with their curriculum and their agendas and everything, and those should be announced soon. But
the cool thing about White Lotus is it's not like a set curriculum. It's more so creativity of high-level grapplers coming together. And it's like a open format gym. So it's open 24/7. It's only for people experiencing grappling. I think like 2 years of grappling and above, blue belt and above. And the goal so far is there's not a set instructor for each class time, but it's structured in a way that everybody can collaborate their jiu-jitsu together. And like, I remember I showed up training with some of the people that are going to be there, and someone said, "Hey, you know things about Tricoplata, right?" And I was like, "Yes, I love the Tricoplata." And then they were like, "Show us." And I was like, "Here's how I do the Tricoplata." And then we all like broke off and worked on it. And then we came back, and then a couple people were like, "I had issue with this part. I had issues with this part." And then Josh was able to be like, "Well, I do it this way." And someone else was like, "It helps me if I do it this way." And it was like a fun workshop of the Tricoplata. And then we rolled.
That's a good word. Workshop. Because that's pretty much what White Lotus is going to be, is a workshop for jiu-jitsu practitioners to be able to enhance their styles with other jiu-jitsu practitioners. And
there is going to be a lounge for watching
UFCs
or flow grappling. And ADCCs, there's probably going to be watch parties for it and stuff like that. And a little gym. And it's 24 hours, so you can use it as like a co-working space.
Yes. Yeah, and Nick had slightly mentioned it in there earlier, is that Josh Janis also does do Globetrotters, and he also has a BJJ Fanatics video out there on guillotines.
2 of them.
Guillotines, however you want to pronounce it. But yeah, he has 2 of them, volume 1 and 2, and he will definitely promote himself if he's ever on here to say it and buy it. But
I think I'm teaching guillotines Tuesday morning.
Are you?
In no-gi.
Do you know anything about guillotines?
Nope.
Okay.
Just how to defend them against white belts.
So yeah, what happened with that?
Don't need to talk about it anymore.
Okay.
I was working my submission defense.
Yes.
And it was very deep and very scary. And it got dark and I started biting my tongue on accident. But I survived. So here I am.
He's a good white belt.
I probably should have tapped.
Yeah. He just didn't want to tap to a white belt.
Again. Yeah, that was funny.
He's good though.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, I guess going back to the gyms, is White Lotus is definitely on our agenda to go visit and go play around at for a while too, because it's about to open and we're excited to see where it goes.
Super exciting. Yeah. So, competition at high level. You know, I would like to do gi or no gi. I love all jiu-jitsu. I would even do combat jiu-jitsu. And pancration. I'm open to doing. I would love to slap people. Get in mount, just slap. But outside of that, I don't know if I want to do MMA just because I don't want any brain damage.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I know you had talked to Dan LaPaz about that too when we were at Open Guard last weekend. You said you don't want the brain damage, and he's like, "I don't blame you. You're being smart."
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty common people get brain damage. All right, that's cool.
Yeah. Yep. But that's cool. I think that's good that you're working towards something. So what are you doing daily to reach those goals?
I don't skip training. Well, actually, it's hard for me to not train. So it's easier for me to show up. But whenever I'm rolling, it's not just like rolling for fun. It's working specific guards, working specific positions, working submission defenses, putting things together, and training smart. But at the same time, I'm not like creaming white belts at a competition level. I'm whatever skill they're at, I'm using their skills to sharpen or work on things that I need to work on.
Yeah. You are rolling with a purpose.
Rolling with a purpose every time.
Which I think is good.
What are your goals in jiu-jitsu?
I have 2 very specific goals that I work towards. Number 1 is I started jiu-jitsu for self-defense, and I always try to keep that mindset. So I have been seeing a lot of, I guess, debate throughout social media about jiu-jitsu and how it's kind of turned more into a sport than it is about self-defense, and that's not what it was intended to be 20, 30 years ago. And that's fine.
Or 100 years ago?
Yeah. Yes, but I'm more when it came here. So I guess it's not a bad thing that it's transitioning into a sport. I think that's great, and it's letting people experiment and do things differently and go out and meet new grapplers and actually make it a fun hobby that it can get more people involved. And I think it's great that it's a sport aspect too. However, I'm doing it not for the sport aspect. I do it for the self-defense. But in the same way, I also do it because it is a great workout at the same time too. Like, it's way more fun than lifting weights.
Oh yeah.
So
yes, it is. I just lift people.
Yeah, right. So I train to stay in shape as well. But my number one goal when I started jiu-jitsu and to this day is for self-defense. Being a smaller female, you want to always make sure that you would be protected in a, God forbid, bad situation. So I wanted to start with that. And then something that was super eye-opening for me this week specifically was we were at our Thursday beginner class, and Jason Lippert, a black belt at our school, he was teaching us to do a pass the guard drill. And if you guys maybe call it something else, the way that we do it is one person starts in the middle, and then everyone else kind of lines up, and they just kind of rotate in and out throughout the people in the middle.
Yep.
And you have the people who are going from the line to the person have to try to pass that person's guard. And if you pass it, you then switch, and that person goes in line, and then you have to now let the next person try to pass your guard. If you don't pass their guard, then that means that that person who was already out either swept or submitted you. And that's how we've always...
And then they stay in and you go back in line.
Yeah. And that's kind of how we've always played it, is you pass, the first person has to pass, and the other person has to either sweep or submit. And that's how we've always done it. And the way Jason Lippert did it on Thursday was he said, you're going to either sweep or stand up. And we were like, huh? And he said, if we're like, it's just
no
over.
Submissions.
Yeah, we're like, it's just over if you stand up. And he was just like, yeah. So think about this. If you are sitting on your butt, because that's kind of the people who are in the middle are just sitting on their butt waiting for the people in line to come up to them. And then they slap bump, and then the person who came up has to try to pass their guard. And typically they're starting standing because they walked over to them standing. And he was like, but if you're sitting on your butt and the other person's standing, the standing person has a lot more, what's the right word?
Advantage?
Yeah, a better advantage into kicking you, throwing strikes, trying to get you pinned,
passing your
guard, doing all this stuff. And he's like, but if you're on your butt and the person's standing, if you stand up, then you're also equal.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, like, I was just totally mind blown by that, because I was like, wow, we don't really think about stand up too much in our school, at least. Like, we don't do too much stand up unless you're training for competition. Mm-hmm. So to think about that perspective of, like, when you stand up, you are equal, a little bit more equal depending on size and strength, but when you stand up, you
level
are
the playing field.
Right. And like being on your butt, like we're also comfortable grappling and sitting down and playing off our back and doing all that stuff, but you really are at a disadvantage if the other person is trying to literally kill you.
Yeah, and it goes in line with the 4 S's from Jeff Glover. Sweep, submit, stall, but also stand up from your guard. Super important. And anytime that you're rolling with someone and they are trying to pass your guard, if you're able to like frame them, do a technical stand-up, I guarantee you 85% of the time they're going to sit down.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want to stand up with you. And then they sit down and then you pass their guard.
And I know something that you said too that I always forget about when I'm rolling. I only think about it when I'm not rolling, which is super irritating. But you say, whenever someone is in my guard, I just stand up and then they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I never think about that. Like, whenever I have someone in my guard, I'm like, oh, I'm going to move. And then after the roll, I'm like, why didn't I stand up?
Yeah.
But I think I've been kind of playing that a little bit more, because what I've been doing is I've been butt scooting out, holding their shoulder back, and then I'm doing a technical stand-up and kind of throwing their head to the floor.
Collar drag.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm doing that a lot.
Yeah, so whenever I take somebody's back from my guard, it's halfway me standing up, halfway pulling them to the ground, but I just transition directly to their back. I don't just stay on my feet.
Yeah.
But that's one of the ways I get to people's backs, is I either wrestle up from my guard, or like a single leg X, or X guard, I'll wrestle up and stand up, or I literally like collar drag, arm drag them off to the side as I stand up, and then their back is exposed. So of course I'm going to dive for their back.
Right.
I'm a backpack. That's what we do.
What is that, Endora? I'm a backpack.
Yep.
Maybe
backpack,
that's what you should
backpack.
be. Oh my gosh, can you imagine if I dressed up as Dora and you were a backpack and we just walked around and you I just gave you a piggyback ride everywhere?
I'll do it. I'm not that way.
I think
I've got a map of submissions. I got a compass of positions.
That would be super funny. I would actually really enjoy that. We should do that for the Halloween party, not for Halloween.
How do I dress up as a backpack?
We'll spray paint you purple.
Oh my god. I'm a purple belt. Yes. I'm like where this is going.
We also want to be Cosmo and Wanda either this year or an upcoming year. I think it would be super fun. From Fairly Odd Parents, if you don't know.
I just figured out if we have green tie-dye today, I'm going to tie-dye my gi green.
Okay. Why? So you don't have one, or?
I don't have any green.
You just want to be Cosmo right now,
yes.
or?
Yes, I want to be Cosmo right now.
Okay. So yeah. And then, so my first goal.
Self-defense.
Right, self-defense. Absolutely 100%. We can dive into it a little bit more later, but my second goal is I stated this early on as a white belt, is that I want to do 2 competitions at every belt. And I did that as a white belt. I have yet to do one as a blue belt. It's been a little chaotic of a year, but I am trying to...
You could have competed at Pans with me.
I could have, but I wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready at all. But I could have, yeah. I want to do Pans next year.
Me too.
But we'll see. So, I'm terrified of competition. So, I try to tell anyone who I talk to about competition who is either thinking about it or saying they never want to do it, or just whenever I'm having the conversation, I always say, like, I hate competing. Like, Nick and I are very opposite in that manner, where, like, he loves it. He loves the adrenaline rush and the, like...
And sharpening swords against other swords, and fighting and surviving and prevailing.
Yes.
And cheap medals.
I am not that way. I hate competing. I think it's rough on the body. I think it is a grindy, just unpleasurable experience for everyone. I just don't love it. But I do really think that it makes your jiu-jitsu better. And so I highly recommend doing it at least once in your life, just so you can feel that experience and understand what other people are talking about when they say competition. Oh, yes. But if you do it one and done, I will never try to get you to do it again if you don't want to. But if you've never done it, I will probably push you to try at least once.
Yeah, and I think jiu-jitsu is good for... Jiu-jitsu competition in general is good for any adult. Because in other sports, it's typically a team thing. So even if I'm a fantastic quarterback and the rest of my team sucks if we were playing football, like, we're never going to win a game, right? Yeah. So it's one-on-one. You really get to test yourself. The other thing is, after you're an adult, there's not a large arena for you to test yourself against other people in, like, a sports setting. Like, I don't know, maybe the best thing I can think of is, like, pool. You can play pool against other people at bars, do pool leagues, or, like, bowling. There's a lot of that. But, like, other sports, there's not a lot of sports that you can actually be competitive in. Or at, like, a world stage, like cornhole you see on ESPN sometimes. but like, you know, that's very different. But jiu-jitsu, it's one-on-one, and there's actual age brackets on a world stage up to, like, 60 years and up for every belt level. Mm-hmm. So you're able to find competition that's your similar skill, size, and rank. Mm-hmm. And I think it's super empowering. And it sharpens you mentally when you have to go compete.
Absolutely.
And physically, it accelerates your jiu-jitsu at a phenomenal rate.
Yeah. We always say that doing one competition is equal to 30 classes in one day. Just because you are being grindy. You are doing it. Honestly, I see competition as a self-defense aspect. Because you really are just trying not to let the other person kill you. We've talked about this in the past where Nick doesn't do his flying triangles and his Tariqa Platas, and maybe now you could, but, like, earlier on, like, you wouldn't try a Tariqa Plata, you wouldn't invert, you wouldn't do all that stuff, like, in a competition.
I wouldn't do a flying donkey guard.
Right. You go back to the basics. You go back to the self-defense.
I go knee slice.
Mm-hmm.
I transition to mount. Mm-hmm. I work mounted arm bars.
Yep. So when you're in competition, it kind of just accelerates that self-defense awareness that triggers in your brain when you are being attacked. And how are you, like, literally going to get out of that situation if it were to actually happen?
How well can you think under pressure?
Yeah. Whereas, like, in the gym, you're just playing just to try out new stuff. And maybe you get smashed in the gym. Like, I got freaking smashed yesterday by so many people. But
in a different context, that would be a weird sentence.
Yep. But that's okay. That goes back to the self-defense thing, though. Like, I remember on, was it Wednesday? Yeah, it was no-gi Wednesday. And I was having a really rough night because I only rolled with a 260-pound dude, 270-pound dude, and I was stuck underneath him the whole time. Like, the whole time. I couldn't get out. I didn't know how to. And then I rolled with this Nick, and he submitted me like 4 times within 2 minutes. And I was like, I would die in a street fight. Like, I was just having like a really rough night where I was like, I suck at this. I don't know why I keep doing this. And everyone has those peaks and valleys, right? Like, you always have those days that you just feel like you're on top of the world, like I'm doing really, really well today. And then you have days like I did on Wednesday where like I wouldn't survive a second in a street fight.
Wednesday was a hard day for Jiu Jitsu spouses.
Yeah. Oh my God. Mm-hmm.
There was some spousal abuse. Accidental spousal abuse.
Some jousting with knees.
Yep, some knee jousting, some hook. I don't even know. I hit you with my hook.
Oh my God.
Bam.
So Nick took my back. This was one of the times that he submitted me without submitting me because I literally tapped because I almost cried.
I took her back.
He took my back. And we were both scrambling because we both move a lot. So I think I was like trying to throw my hips up. And then what he did is he also threw his hips up. He brought his legs around so he could get his hooks in. And his shin, or his
back
bottom
of my
of his heel hit my shin as hard as he could, trying to pin me down to the floor.
It was not as hard as I could.
It was not on purpose, but it happened. And it just imagine like your shin bone, like imagine running into.
Have you ever checked a kick in Muay Thai?
Imagine running into your hitch.
A trailer hitch? Like your dad?
That's what it felt like. I'm not kidding. It was the worst.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, imagine hitting your shin on
my
something
crowbar
really
kicks?
hard. Yes. That's what it felt like. He took my back and I was literally just like, I like breathed in really hard and I was like, tap! And he was like, what?
I had like hooks in a seatbelt and I was like, what? What? Why are you tapping?
And then I just rolled over and I was seriously holding back tears in my eyes. Like, it hurt so bad. And I was done for the night after that.
She was mad at me for a little bit.
It hurt. And I just gotten, like, smashed.
There's a bruise on your shin.
Yeah, that's not the right one, though.
Oh.
So, anyway.
No evidence.
So,
yeah, self-defense. You're talking about is real in competition.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're not trying all that fancy stuff. You really are just trying to survive. And so that's another reason that I push myself to do competition, is because it helps my other goal, which is my number one goal. My number one goal is always self-defense, because if I were to get attacked from behind in the street, I want to know that as long as they don't have a gun, I would be able to hopefully walk out alive.
Yep.
And that's always the way that I go in mentally with my training, is I want to be able to survive against someone who's going hard against me.
Mm-hmm. I think you would.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Do you want to hear another one of my jiu-jitsu goals?
Yeah. I was just going to also mention the Leandro, though. The Leandro thing, because that like really resonated with me this week. Because obviously...
Leandro Lo.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Him being like arguably one of the greatest BJJ practitioners of our time, and then just for him to have such a tragic death that way, I guess it was really eye-opening that it doesn't matter how good you are and how great your self-defense is, like, you can't beat a gun. So it's a little terrifying to think about that kind of stuff. But you want to at least know that you're good in other ways, so that, God forbid, a gun is around or not around, you can at least use what you know to fight off. So, yeah, that was just something that was a little wild. But
a little wild. It's a lot wild. Mm-hmm. It was on Inside.
I know, I saw.
Yeah, which is like a global newsletter.
Yeah.
Leandro Lo was in there.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. That was the first time I've seen jiu-jitsu in our normal news.
Yeah. And then it also said, like, the whole BJJ community is mourning for him. And it was true. Like, it was really sad. And then that was actually one of the posts that I saw that was, like, kind of an inspirational one for me. Because it was just, like, if you see a jiu-jitsu practitioner this week who may be a little bit quieter than normal, or a little bit more in their head than normal, it's just because they're pondering not just the loss of a champion, but also, like, wondering kind of almost like
jiu-jitsu does not make us invincible.
Yes. And it was just like very eye-opening for a lot of us.
I believe jiu-jitsu definitely is a superpower, but does not make us invincible.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's your other goal? Let's go on a happier note.
Yes. My other goal in jiu-jitsu, besides being a high-level competitor, hopefully in the future, is to become a coach that a lot of people want to come to for technique advice.
I think you're achieving that.
So yeah, it's not necessarily that I want people to come to me for jiu-jitsu, but I love teaching and coaching just in general. That's my job. I'm a life coach. And I also coach martial arts for kids and city champs. I coach at Fluid, and 75% of my income is currently coming from coaching, which I love doing. And I would like to continue that path and make as much of an impact on people's lives as I can through coaching, through martial arts, through jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, self-defense, or life coaching, and it's all in the same vein. So that's an overarching goal of my whole life, not just jiu-jitsu, but I found a niche where I'm able to help people learn jiu-jitsu in a way that works well for them, and I'd love to continue that and broaden my reach in teaching jiu-jitsu. And I think that works hand in hand when you are a high-level competitor, your name is out there more, and you can get more exposure to help teach more people through jiu-jitsu. And then also, I have kind of a branching goal besides that, and we can dive into that, but I have a branching goal of trying to create a pathway for jiu-jitsu practitioners to build better life habits through my life coaching. Like I'm coming up with that jiu-jitsu technique dictionary for life.
Yep. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool. You could write a book about that eventually.
Yeah, I started putting that stuff together so that it's organized. We'll see how long it takes. Probably years.
Probably.
That's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, but I love teaching, I love coaching, and I coach as much as possible.
What's your favorite thing to teach? Because, I know that whenever you get private lessons from white belts, they typically like to go over what's on the blue belt test because they want to be proficient in it.
Yeah.
But what's your favorite thing to teach?
I love loop chokes. It's always fun to teach loop chokes. And I love teaching butterfly guard, where, when you try to flatten out somebody in butterfly guard, and then they just sit up. That's one of my favorite things to teach, just in general. It's like a magic trick of jiu-jitsu. And
fun.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's like like a teeter-totter.
Yeah.
Of jiu-jitsu guards.
Yeah.
Yes, but I love that. But I really like question and answer because everybody has a unique way of teaching whatever technique that might be going through someone's mind, and everybody has the best way that works for them. But if your legs are shorter, it's going to be different. If you have really good arm dexterity, it's going to be different. If you have really good balance, what you can do is going to be different. So,
yeah,
super
jiu-jitsu
fun.
tailors to your body.
But yeah, recently I've been teaching a lot of loop chokes, a lot of choke theory, a lot of guillotines, a lot of triangles, arm bars, butterfly guard, sweeps in general.
Everything. To the moon and the sun.
All of the things.
Yes.
But I teaching brings me joy, and jiu-jitsu brings me joy. And when I get to teach both, it's a win-win-win. I don't know what happened in my hand.
That's cool.
But yeah, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, and you're also sharpening your own jiu-jitsu when you're
That's
able
right.
to enunciate everything and actually go through the movements and what you would do, which I've been learning because now apparently I'm doing private lessons, which just started.
Yes. How about that?
I didn't choose to, but
you're forced into it.
Here I am, and it's actually been helping quite a bit. Like, oh yeah, I do it this way, but this is what I do different. Okay, yep, that's how I do it. It's been interesting to put them into words.
Yes. Teaching helps develop your jiu-jitsu game because you have to first understand what you're doing. Second, be able to tell somebody what to do. And third, be able to describe why it is you do it that way.
And fourth, you also have to have it be explained to someone in ways that they can understand. Because it can't, like, the way that you understand how to do technique may be totally different than the way I understand it. Mm-hmm. And so you have to learn their language and how they learn. And that's one of the first things that I asked Nancy was I was just like, well, how do you learn? Do you learn from watching, or do you learn from doing? Or do you learn from listening? Like, how do you learn? And she said, oh, I'm definitely like a repetition doer. And I'm like, perfect, me too. This is going to work out very well. But, like, if you learn from just, like, listening the way Nick does, then it could be totally different. It could be catered totally different to you based on how you learn. And I think that that's really important. That's part of the communication, too, is figuring out how they learn so you can expedite the way that they learn.
Yes. Reach them at a deeper level.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that I hear a lot about you and I specifically. Like, the girls will tell me on Tuesdays, and Nancy's brought it up quite a few times, and she's like, I just love the way that you and Nick can break things down for us. And, like, you are able to explain things in a way that, like, I was never able to understand before. And I'm like, oh,
look at you. One of my most favorite things is when I have a private lesson with someone, and then they come back to the next session, and they're like, I did the thing that we worked on last week, and it worked so greatly. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And it's like, yes, we did it. You did it. And they're always like, you did it. And I'm like, no, you did it. And then they're like, thanks, look, I got a stripe now. And I'm like, no, you did it. I did nothing.
You did the thing.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
It's super fulfilling.
I know Nancy told me she was mounting armbarring everyone. And I was like,
dang, girl.
Crazy. Interesting. But, yeah, I think that communication is very important, which is going hand in hand with your coaching.
That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, I think I am a coach.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, even at Stonefire, you were also still a coach.
Yeah, I was coaching people on how to do their job, whatever their task was. I was coaching people on how to build better relationships with their coworkers. I was coaching people on how to build better habits in their life so that they would show up to work ready to work. Mm-hmm. And that third part, I really quit my job to do that just on a full scale. And here I am now. I'm doing it.
Yeah. I have to take a survey at work soon. It's called Insights. I learned about it in my orientation. Have you heard of that? Do you know what that is? You're just nodding your head like you really know what that is. I mean, so.
I understand the concept.
Okay. So apparently everyone at my work has to do that. And I haven't taken mine yet. And I don't really know where to find it. It's on my list of things to do. But basically it just tells you how you communicate and how, like, what kind of worker you are. Whether, like, communication is your top skill, or if you just like to, like, do things quick and efficient and just not have to worry about anything else. And there's 4 things, and I can't remember what they all are, but I have to take it so I can figure out, like, how I learn and how I communicate with my peers and my colleagues. And just thinking about that, like, the way that you are a coach, I feel like the communication one would probably be at your top. So once I find it, if it's open externally, not just an internal thing, I'll let you take it too.
All right.
I don't know if it actually is. It might just be internal, but
yeah. Well, that's cool.
My boss is the quick person. His
no
number
way.
1 was just don't give me any fluff. Tell me what you need and then get out type of thing.
I'm all of the above. I'm able to talk to anyone about anything.
Yes. We were out shopping yesterday. We were doing errands, and he literally was like telling the 16-year-old girls behind the counter, he was just like, "Are you guys having a great day? It's like, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day." Like, he was just so, like, chipper, and they were just like, yeah.
They're like, this dude's fucking crazy. They were standing behind the customer service counter of Bed Bath & Beyond with absolutely no customers in the store. And they looked bored out of their minds. Mm-hmm. So, well, I bought an energy drink from them because I was caffeine dying. Dying without caffeine. And I was like, can I buy this? And they were like, sure. And I was like, all right. And then, like, I was sitting there, I was like, yay, I get to buy an energy drink. And she's literally like, beep, beep, beep. And then I was like, all right, is that it? She's like, yep. I was like, you guys have so much fun back here. And they're like, okay. It was pretty funny.
We almost got to take some pans.
Yeah, they didn't scan the biggest item in our cart.
We literally bought a pan that was probably $70, and our total came out to $37, and we were like, I don't think you scanned the pans. And she was just like, oh. And then she was like, I thought this was that. And then she moved it, she scanned, she's like, all right, your total is 100. And I was like, that makes more sense.
Yeah. And then when we left, I was like, don't have too much fun back there.
And then they were just like, yeah. It was very interesting.
It was so funny. I had a good time with it.
The whole purpose of this story is that Nick's a coach. He likes to boost people up, no matter what atmosphere we're in, whether it's jiu-jitsu or at Bed Bath & Beyond.
I was at Home Depot on Friday. Josh and I were trying to rent a truck. We didn't end up renting a truck there, but they had a military discount form at the customer service desk. And it said, like, Air Force, Navy, Army, National Guard. Mm-hmm. And then it also said Space Force. And I was like, oh. So then I was talking to the lady because Josh was on the phone somewhere. And I was like, hey, do you guys ever sign up anybody with the military discount for the Space Force? And they were like, I don't think so. And then I was like, that's pretty cool, hey? And they were like, is that new? And I was like, nope, the Space Force has been around for a couple of years now, I believe. And I was just talking to these people that absolutely don't know about the Space Force. I also told them I was Josh's muscle, and I was just waiting for him to get off the phone.
What? What do you mean by muscle? What does that even mean?
Exactly. And they were very confused at Home Depot.
I'm sure they were.
Especially because we didn't get anything, and then we just left.
What the heck? Why would you call yourself a muscle?
Muscle means bodyguard. Also, we were moving things, renting a truck.
You're an interesting person.
It was a good time.
I'm sure it was. Sometimes he makes people's day, and sometimes he walks away, and they're probably just like, what the hell?
And sometimes it's both.
Yeah.
And I love it.
And that's me. So, yeah, I think that...
Also,
we covered...
if you go to Home Depot and you're in the Space Force, you can get a military discount.
Cool. I think we covered our goals that we wanted to hit. Obviously, we have a lot of like daily goals, weekly goals, things that we're trying to work on, and specific moves and stuff. But that
which we talked about last week.
Yeah, that just didn't seem to fit. I felt like our big long-term goals that we're working towards is what's most important, because that's kind of what deviates the rest of your miniature goals. Because if you're not working every day to reach that one goal, you're probably just not going to get there, at least not as efficiently as you could.
Right. And it's good to have goal. It's good to have goal. It's good to have goal.
Like your 1 foot. Getting your 1 foot wet.
It's good to have goals so that you're working towards something. So that way you have a North Star that you're following. And when you're having a tough time making a decision, should I do this? Should I do that? You can always look back to that North Star. And you're like, does this support me getting to that space? Mm-hmm. And then if it says yes, go ahead, do it. You're probably just reserving doing it because you're scared. But if it's a no, like, this is not fit on that path. I should not do this thing. It's way easier for you to say no to those things. I'm
just picturing Mario Kart. Because you said North Star, and I'm thinking about that one track that's up in space that has like all the rainbow, all the rainbow stuff. And so you're just going down that rainbow road, and you're constantly like trying to get boosters and pick up stuff and do things, and those are your miniature goals. And then that finish line is the end goal, but it's not the end goal because you just keep going.
Oh my god!
Like there's no end goal, you just keep going.
Rainbow Road is a metaphor for life, guys.
But every time you go around the track, it's different. It hits you more. It hits you in different spots, and you can pick up different boosters. Jiu-Jitsu is Mario Kart, okay?
There you go. You heard it here first, folks.
I don't know. You said North Star, and I just immediately went to Rainbow Road for some reason, and I don't know why. But now we should play Mario Kart.
Yeah. I don't think we have it.
No, but Jackie and Corey do, I think.
All right.
So.
But yes, a North Star or a mission statement or a vision
or
for your future or Rainbow Road will help you make those tough decisions on, yes, if you should do this or know if you shouldn't. And then it helps you set up your smaller goals, your milestones on the way. Because ultimately, you don't want to live following goals. You want to live in fulfillment on your everyday life.
And if you slip on a banana, you just keep going.
That's right.
All right. I think that's a good way to end it. Have a great week of training, guys.
Here we go. Have a great night.
We're going to get
like, subscribe.
super